Imagine living in a society where no child experiences fear or anguish and wakes up feeling hopeful. Imagine the agonizing reality that many young people in our community must endure in silence while being caught in a vicious cycle of abuse that ruins their innocence. Today, we will raise awareness of this important problem that impacts not just people, but our entire community. Together, we can end the silence, mend the scars, and create a future where every child is respected, protected, and cherished. It is our shared duty to increase awareness, promote prevention, and aid in healing initiatives. In order to guarantee that every kid can grow up in a secure and caring environment, child abuse is a widespread problem that destroys the lives of innumerable young people. Child abuse has occurred throughout history, but it was often unnoticed or accepted as a natural part of parenting. Children in ancient societies were often viewed as property, rather than individuals with rights. Family structures and living arrangements shifted considerably during the late 19th and early 20th century. During this time, reformers began advocating for children's rights and protections. The development of children protection rules began in the early 20th century. The New York Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, the first child protection group, was founded in 1875. Over the decades, more states and countries have passed legislation to protect children from abuse and neglect. Today, we'll be talking about impact on victims, reporting and legal framework, and forms of abuse. Child abuse is a topic that elicits strong emotions and forces us to consider our duties as people and as a community. We dig deeper into this subject. Let us recognize the numerous types of child abuse, which include physical, emotional, sexual, and neglect. Each type leaves multiple scars on children's hearts and minds, often with serious long-term implications. Victims of child abuse may have trauma, low self-esteem, and trouble establishing healthy relationships along with other long-lasting psychological, emotional, and physical repercussions. Child abuse can cause long-term emotional problems such as sadness, anxiety, low self-esteem, and trouble maintaining a healthy relationship in adulthood due to their trauma and trust issues. Victims of child abuse may sustain physical injuries, developmental delays, and chronic health issues, which can impede their general growth and well-being throughout their lives. Understanding the types of abuse is crucial for identifying and addressing these serious issues. There are several primary forms of abuse that we should be aware of, such as emotional abuse, psychological abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, and neglect. These are all the different types of abuse towards children. Let's start off with physical abuse. This refers to any intentional body harm done to a child, such as beatings, hits, burnings, or any other harmful acts. In addition to mental trauma, it can result in injuries and long-term health problems, or in some cases, death. Let's move on to psychological abuse. This type of abuse includes actions that impair a child's self-esteem or emotional growth. Some examples of psychological abuse are verbal abuse, criticism, rejection, isolation. These are some things that can occur. And they may cause serious mental health issues down the road. Now, let's dive into the practical aspects of reporting abuse and the resources available for victims and for those who are wanting to report. Legal frameworks that mandate that specific professionals notify authorities of suspected child abuse, ensure victim protection, criminal prosecution, and a systematic response to protect children. Local law enforcement, Child Protective Services, also known as CPS, or authorized hotlines are all places where people can report child abuse. Reporting protocols may differ in location. I know for New Mexico, there's a hotline where you can text and you can stay anonymous. It's through CYFD. I've had to report a couple times and it's really good. It's important to consider the significant effects of child abuse on both people and society at large. As we come to the end of our conversation, we have looked at many sides of this problem, such as different forms of abuse, the value of education and awareness, and the critical role that laws play by safeguarding children who are at risk. Victims frequently experience PTSD, anxiety, sadness, low self-esteem, develop unhealthy relationships in their adult life, and they may also struggle with social isolation in the future. Child protection statutes, which grant authorities the authority to step in and remove children from dangerous situations, are among the laws aimed at preventing child abuse. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak about such an important matter. It's so important to me because I work in the school system and I've had to report on some children, and I think it's a matter that we should speak up about, just because it happens so often without a lot of people knowing that it happens. But just so you guys can see more about what child abuse does to child's brain, I will have a video here playing in a little bit, and it just shows pictures. They are kind of graphic. They are drawn by actual children, so if you want to skip over that part, you can. But it shows how abuse can really alter a child's mind. Thank you.